She got the car to the tire shop, and the tire was irreparable. She had to buy a new tire for a couple $100 she didn't have. She was not able to keep up with her car, so she had to buy the new tire. There was no choice. She ran her debit card, and to her surprise, it covered the tire. She ran the debit card. She didn't have the money in her account, but it covered it. It covered the tire. And she said she got home, and she checked the account when she got home, wondering how it was paid for, because she knew she didn't have the money for it. And it was her overdraft that covered it. She thanked me that her community bank was there for her to cover her overdraft so she could keep moving without having to call for help. Needless to say, I was tremendously humbled that we could help this mother whose husband was deployed in the military due to the overdraft, and I was grateful we were there to cover it in time of need. That is a celebration in Women's History Month, that overdraft protection protected that female mother of two with a deployed husband. Precisely because our consumers are smart, that they want this. They recognize that the convenience of a fee to pay an overdraft charge to avoid the inconvenience at the point of sale as a liquidity bridge when they've run out of cash in their account is better and less expensive than a high-cost payday loan.
Well, I would just say sell that someplace else. It won't work with my constituents. And this is about raising bank fees. Let me read you. I don't ever agree with anything this woman ever says, Laura Loomer, but she tweeted, yes, really, hopefully you can put an end to this, Elon Musk. The GOP doesn't like CFPB, and so they are now just opposing everything CFP has done, including the good things like implementing a law in 2024 that banned payment platforms like PayPal, Stripe, and Venmo from banning people based off their political affiliation. Senate GOP just voted to legalize debanking. They should kill the companion bill off in the House. I mean, we just have a very different viewpoint here, but I'm going to tell you, my constituents don't trust big banks, and because they've been screwed by big banks time and time and time again over the years. And I'll tell you, I guarantee you, if you get your way on this, they're going to get screwed again.
My wife gives me a certain amount of money in my account. She gets all the money in our household, and she gives me a certain amount of money on the credit union up here, our federal credit union here. And there have been months when she has chastised me and said, when you just use that card willy-nilly, they charge you a fee when you run out of money. And I said, they do? And she said, yeah, but I'd much rather have that than to have somebody saying, no, you can't buy that meal on the way home because your money's run out, or thinking that I'm attempting to defraud them. So this is where these fees were originally came in to be very popular, is because people do opt in, because people do like them, because if you're inadvertent, it's a way of saying to whomever you're spending that money with, I'm not trying to defraud you, and the state recognizes that as better than having something returned for insufficient funds and potential criminal penalties.
I believe any kind of nationwide injunction should immediately go to the Supreme Court to be validated as a nationwide activity.
Well,
I don't believe district judges
I understand
have the authority.
that alternative. I understand that you've provided that particular alternative as something for this committee to consider. Your written testimony indicates far more significant and structural changes. You referenced the Judiciary Act of 1802 and this notion that the Congress can abolish district courts and the rest, and you seem to be suggesting those as remedies that we ought to consider. In any event, I just want to talk, I know I'll ask the chairman to indulge me since I know he's indulged other members. You have talked about, and I'll just read it from an article here, there's a long tradition which has only been broken really starting in the late 1950s with this crazy idea that lawyers and judges are superior to the rest of us and they get to define everything, right?
That's correct.
And you're referencing what case?
Cooper versus Aaron.
Cooper versus Aaron. That case was a desegregation case, right?
Yeah, but that wasn't the point of it.
I understand, but this was a case in which the state of Arkansas was seeking the ability to not comply with Brown versus Board of Education in desegregating schools in Arkansas. It had nothing to do, by the way, Speaker Gingrich, with presidential power. It had to do with the supremacy of the Constitution and the ability of states to respect the Supreme Court's interpretation of the Constitution. There are a variety of cases long before Cooper in which the Supreme Court has opined on the constitutionality of a president's actions, Youngstown being a great example. It is convenient that for whatever reason you've landed on these 1950s desegregation cases as the inception, in your view, of the Supreme Court's tyranny, as you describe it, I suppose. I don't think that that's consistent with the values of the American people. It's the reason why Republican jurists, Michael Mukasey, a very distinguished federal jurist, as you know, has attacked your ideas in the past. I think you'd concede this. Want to talk to you about a phrase you used. I think this is accurate. You called it a judicial coup d'etat. Am I right?
That's correct.
Okay. And you would describe, 14 federal judges appointed by a president of an opposing political party issuing nationwide injunctions against a president's executive orders as a judicial coup d'etat.
I would describe the wave of decisions in the last 7 weeks deliberately designed to slow down, unwind, and block the president as clearly an effort by a group of judges.
I hear you. What I'm asking you, again, I don't think I'm mischaracterizing your testimony. 14 federal judges, all of an opposing political party, that is to say, 14 federal judges appointed by a president of an opposing political party, issuing nationwide injunctions against the president's policies, in your view, would be a judicial coup d'etat.
It depends on how long the time was.
Sounds like it depends on the president,
injunction.
Mr. Gingrich, because the president I'm describing is President Biden.
I know.
During his tenure, 14 federal judges issued injunctions against policies that he pursued via executive order. How many of them were appointed by Republican presidents? Do you know?
No.
100%, all of them.
Well, you're making my case.
I'm making your case.
they
What's
shouldn't be able-
fascinating, Mr. Gingrich, is I didn't hear much from you about judicial coup d'etats when President Biden's policies were being rejected by federal judges across the country. It is very convenient now, lo and behold, that you take great issue and you describe it as a judicial coup d'etat when I didn't hear these words 2 years ago.
Had the Judiciary Committee invited me in during the Biden administration,
I see.
I would have been glad to say.
Well, I regret that Chairman Jordan.
I don't approve of.
I regret that Chairman Jordan didn't issue an invitation to you when, as Mr. Massey articulated, policy after policy, executive order after executive order issued by President Biden were being rejected by federal courts, subject to nationwide injunctions across the land. Apparently, you were just waiting to come testify in front of the committee to call that a judicial coup d'etat against President Biden. That's what it sounds like.
Representative Gill from Texas filed impeachment proceedings against Judge Boasberg. It has 22 co-signers. He's not here at the moment. He's probably filing impeachment proceedings against Louis Brandeis. But Speaker Gingrich says that this is a cumbersome process, and Speaker Gingrich is absolutely an impeachment expert. Well, allow me to doge this cumbersome process for you, Speaker Gingrich. Why don't we just ask Chairman Issa or Chairman Jordan, when is the hearing on impeachment of Judge Boasberg? When's the hearing? Give me a date. Give the American people a date. Oh, wait, Chairman Issa says that this is actually a political symbol and not actual legislation. So it's a fake impeachment. When are you going to tweet that out? That ought to be popular. I mean, we had a fake impeachment for the last 2 years. I mean, I hope Representative Gill isn't a Comer. I mean, we got a Doge James Comer spending millions of dollars in 2 years on fake impeachments, but I guess that's what we do. We file fake impeachments now. That's what we admit.
Now, Speaker, you said some of these judges are pretend presidents,
how much would the gentleman give to his campaign?
700 district judges that are pretending that they're president. There's a single judge in a federal courthouse in Amarillo, Texas, where conservatives are form shopping and having cases sent to him, Judge Kaczmarek. In 2023, he suspended mifepristone approval. That's a medical abortion pill. Can you direct me, Speaker, to the statement you gave objecting to him doing that? I couldn't find it.
No, I haven't spoken out on this issue until I was invited to come here.
Okay.
I wrote about it in 2011, and I submitted that for the record.
How about when Judge Kaczmarek ruled against ACA protections for LGBTQ individuals in November 2022?
Well,
Did you speak out against that rogue judge?
I think the term "I have not spoken on this issue until I was invited here" was generic and included every single one of the cases you want to ask about. So I will stipulate in advance. I did not comment because I did not
the
comment.
state of Minnesota, because right now we have a voice that could be big enough where when I do my due diligence and we're going to do polling, we're going to get a couple different polls to be taken. We're going to be you do all kinds of due diligence. I'm just checking into all this now, but they're saying, well, why would you consider it now and you didn't consider it then? Because we got our voice back, and all the lies that Waltz is putting out we will see through them. It won't just be me saying it, or we're saying it on Lindell TV. The whole world will be screaming it, that these lies will be uncovered. And what are they going to do? Go, well, Mike Lindell, he was a crack addict. Yeah? What else you got? So there you have it. Rick, I kind of surprised you with that. I am considering it, and I'm going to do due diligence over these as we roll out this. I'm going to make some bigger announcements tomorrow, and hopefully that we'll find out that the polling will do and all this stuff will show. I think it's going to show. I live here in Minnesota. Everywhere I go, nobody wants Tim Walz. They don't.
They hate our country. And I know I go knock doors every election and I see, what kind of Americans have American flags on their door. It's never a Democrat. They don't do it. They hate our country. They'll do anything to dismantle our democracy, our republic, our Constitution. They'll burn it to the ground. If it means that they can win and ruin our nation, they will do it at all costs, and we cannot let them. Thank God for Donald Trump.
Where I met General Raisin Cain. And what's your name? General, what's your name? And he gave me his name. What's your name, Sergeant? Yes, sir, and I love you, sir. I think you're great, sir. I'll kill for you, sir. Then he puts on a Make America Great Again hat. You're not allowed to do that, but they did it.
A story where he spoke to you while you were serving in Iraq on active duty, and you said that you loved him, and I'll kill for you, sir. The president then said that you followed up these comments by putting on a Make America Great Again hat. General Cain, is any of this story true?
Senator, as I mentioned to the chairman, for 34 years I've upheld my oath of office and the responsibilities of my commission. I think I went back and listened to those tapes, and I think the president was actually talking about somebody else, and I've never worn any political merchandise or said anything to that effect.
That he should remain in this country. So are you saying that it is okay to ignore a judge's ruling if you don't like it?
Who does that judge work for?
He's an immigration
It was
judge.
an immigration judge who works for the Department of Justice at the direction of the Attorney General of the United States, whose name is Pam Bondi, who has committed to eradicating MS-13 from our nation's interior.
I know you put, I want to make sure Alina Habba gets her credit too, because I know she worked very hard on this, but thank you for making this happen so quick. Anyone who's bought a concert ticket in the last decade, maybe 20 years, no matter what your politics are, knows that it's a conundrum. You buy a ticket for $100, by the time you check out, it's $170. You don't know what you're getting charged for, but more importantly, these bots. They come in to get all the good tickets to your favorite shows you want to go to, and then they're relisted immediately for sometimes a 400% or 500% markup. And the artists don't see any of that money. And, ultimately, I think this is a great first step. I would love down the road if there would be some legislation that we could actually put a cap on the resale of tickets. And I'm a capitalist and a deregulation guy, but they've tried this in some places in Europe, and it seems to be the only thing that's us as artists be able to get the tickets into the hands of the fans at the prices we set. I'll be the first one to say, and I know the president doesn't like when I say this, but I'm a little overpaid right now. It's kind of ridiculous. I would rather be, a hero to working class people and have them be able to come attend my shows and give them a fair ticket price. I can't control that right now, so hopefully this is a step to really be able to make that happen. I know a lot of artists and a lot of fans who love concerts and music are going to be very appreciative.
What is your thought about Tiger Woods now becoming part of the broader Trump family?
Well, I love Tiger, and I love Vanessa, and they had a great relationship. I happen to think the relationship with my son, I happen to think the relationship was hurt very badly by the witch hunt that went on, Russia, and all the crap that they put Don through, who knew nothing about it. But Vanessa and Don had a very good relationship. They have incredible children, 5 incredible children. All good athletes, all great students, they're great. And they broke up, quite a while ago. and which was to me very sad because I think they're both great. Don and Vanessa, and Tiger actually called me a few months ago, and I have a very special, very good relationship with Tiger. I played golf with him a couple of times over the last month, and he's a fantastic guy and a fantastic athlete. And he told me about it, and I said, Tiger, that's good, that's good. I'm very happy for both. I just let them both be happy. Let them both be happy. They're both
What's your
great.
thought about Tiger Woods now becoming part of the broader Trump family?
Well, I love Tiger, and I love Vanessa, and they had a great relationship. I happen to think the relationship with my son, I happen to think the relationship was hurt very badly by the witch hunt that went on, Russia, and all the crap that they put Don through, who knew nothing about it. But Vanessa and Don had a very good relationship. They have incredible children, 5 incredible children, all good athletes, all great students. They're like great, and they broke up, quite a while ago, and which was to me very sad because I think they're both great. Don and Vanessa, and Tiger actually called me a few months ago, and I have a very special, very good relationship with Tiger. I played golf with him a couple of times over the last month, and he's a fantastic guy and a fantastic athlete. And he told me about it, and I said, Tiger, that's good, that's good. I'm very happy for both. I just let them both be happy. Let them both be happy. They're both great.